Okay, let's see.
And now she frozen.
Everybody, I got frozen when I did that. My thighs made the screen freeze.
Your thighs make a lot of freeze, yeah. Like this thick.
Huh?
Nothing. Bad. Very bad.
Yeah, I hate to break it to you, Andy, but we're live.
And this is Saturday Night Live.
And you know how to time that, let me tell you. So I just hit it, and I was like, I think it's working now. And then something about dicks.
Lovely. Great way. Welcome, people. Welcome.
Let's see. Hopefully everyone can see this. I was having some weird trouble with the upstream to YouTube or whatever the fuck. But it says it's working now, so, you know. Hopefully that remains true. And
people would
so,
comment.
Ooh, people say they see it. Okay, so everybody, welcome to the 7th episode of Squat the Planet podcast. Today is what day is it? I don't even fucking know. Sunday.
Today is the 23rd.
It is the 23rd. Thank you. It is September 23rd, in fact, and I am joined by a bunch of people today. This is going to be extremely slapdash, just because we've had a bunch of just all kinds of bullshit come up, and so things got moved around a whole bunch, and so you know what? We just said fuck it. We're just going to have a chaos group chat. And Andrew from the Slabs was here for a minute, but his internet's a little too slow to handle 5 video feeds at the same time. So I think he'll be joining us in the chat room. And but otherwise, I have some other people with me, and we're just gonna bullshit about whatever the fuck we feel like bullshitting about. And I think it's gonna be interesting and weird. So thank you all for joining us.
Yeah.
So picture.
What's that?
What?
What did you say?
Say it. No. No take that, please.
All right. Well, let's start out with letting everybody know who they're listening to. Everyone, I am Matt Derrick. Obviously, you've seen me on the show. You've seen Andy on the show before, up there in the top left. A new person on the show, Lucia, is joining us today, just for the fuck of it. Lucia, where's everybody at, by the way? By the way, we got John above me here. And John, you're in Iowa, you said, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Andrew just announced that he is Andrew in the chat room.
Okay.
Thanks, Andrew. So Lucia, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you're at, and I don't know, anything else you want to say.
Oh dear. All right.
I know you're on the fucking spot now.
Oh no.
What you got yourself into.
My name's Lucia. I also go by Geraldo in Squat the Planet, and I go by Salty Sea Slut in the chat room, because I am a mermaid, and apparently I go drown sailors. But I'm currently in the middle of bumfuck Egypt, which is just in Oregon, the little nubbin of Oregon.
Man, I thought that was in the Middle East.
No, it's in Africa.
I got scooped up into an interesting job position that some travelers have been able to get scooped up into, being museum caretakers. So that's what I do.
Yeah, I forgot. Is that your job right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Nice. And what is the museum?
It's just a museum. I will keep it anonymous for their own benefit.
So we don't come and fuck the place up?
Yes.
Hmm. Okay, touche.
So considerate.
I mean,
I they would.
All right. Well, people, anyone that's heard the show before is probably familiar with Andrew, or Andy. Sorry, since we are referring to Andrew in the chat, two separate people. Andrew, you're still out at your little pot farm job, right?
Andy, yes.
Sorry,
I-
sorry.
Yeah, we're actually starting harvest this, so it should be wrapping up for the season pretty soon, like maybe like 3 or 4 weeks. But yeah, out in California, you know, bouts in the middle-ish kind of area.
Cool. But you're heading up to the West Coast, or you're heading up the West Coast soon. Is that correct?
Yep, I'm going to visit Lucia first, and then I'm visiting you, Matt,
Woohoo.
and I'm visiting other friends who are also Spot the Planet users. So yay!
Cool, cool. John, you are here for the first time using your cell phone.
Damn.
It's pretty awesome. I actually love that Discord runs on cell phones because it makes this way fucking easy to like interview people. Because I'm just like, you
Oh,
got a
yeah.
phone? And like, hell yeah. So,
Yeah, I don't.
uh-oh, I think your audio cut out there for a second. What'd you say?
I said I don't have like.
oh no!
That's just my phone, but it's all good.
Yeah, cool, cool. So you're in Iowa?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm in Iowa currently. Kind of squatting, kind of invading a place. So
Yeah, so what's the story behind that?
long story short, like there's some troubles with it, but I have a buddy here who runs a antique oddities store. Acquired the entire building recently. We discovered a stage on the second floor, and so we're clearing that out. Here, I can show you guys.
Okay, cool, cool. Yeah, you know your audio is cutting out pretty bad.
Really?
Yeah,
no.
every few seconds. Is it cutting out for you guys?
Yes.
Yeah, it's on
Okay.
my end too.
It's
So
weird because the
this-
video's working great.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty decent squat. Like you get all that top floor to yourself,
Holy
and
shit.
like
Yeah. So
antique oddities like place below. That sounds awesome.
yeah, we're clearing all that. Oh, sorry. Hold up. Come on. But yeah, I mean, see, there's actually like this building was built in like 1800, so there's like trap doors and.
Trapdoor, you say.
That's
Hey.
crazy, man. So wait, who owns the place?
My buddy, if you're ever in Boone, Iowa, stop by Paradox store. A lot of
Paradox
oddity.
store in Boone, Iowa.
Huh? I can understand.
Cut out, so I couldn't tell. I was asking Paradox, blank store is what I heard.
Yeah, it's an antique and oddity store.
Cool, cool. So I mean, are you staying there with the permission of the owner, or you said you're kind of squatting, so I wasn't quite sure.
Yeah, it's like we kind of like we're staying in this building, creating it. We're helping him clear it out. He's giving us sleep.
Okay. And how long is that? How long are you gonna be able to stay there then?
I don't know. I think I'm just gonna stay here for a week or so, make some money, and make my way down.
Make your way down to where?
Like, you know what? It's probably not my speaker. It's like me being stoned and.
It's definitely the speaker on your phone.
Unless we're all
did I-
stoned.
Yeah, it's like I said, the video looks great, but the audio cuts out about every 5 seconds. So I don't know if it's like maybe cell reception, maybe or something. Maybe if you
That'd be
stand by a
weird.
window.
I've been sitting here like this entire time.
Yeah. Where you said you're? Where are you going after you leave there?
I'm thinking. I'm either thinking like Memphis or like Nashville. I'll be in Austin. On my way to the gym, but that's the plan.
Cool. So you're coming out to the Jamboree then?
Oh fuck yeah, I am.
Yeah. Woo! I'm really looking forward to this year's Jamboree. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Sounds like there's gonna be some really rad people out there. We're gonna definitely do some crazy party shit in the desert. You know, it'll be cool. Like it'll definitely be an experience, especially if you've never been there before to Slab City.
So, what's the Jamboree like?
Well, let's see.
What
Last
kind of
year,
one it-
well, you know, we do the Jamboree at the Slab City Library. So it's a crazy library with a bar in the middle, and it's in the middle of the desert in a squatter town in Southern California. It's very Mad Max like, very post-apocalyptic looking, and Slab City itself is a squatter town that where the land is owned technically by somebody, but like nobody really cares or whatever. So like people come out there and camp for the winter because it's a free place to camp. Lots of snowbirds and things like that. It's kind of like I wouldn't say like directly hippie community because it's a weirder than that. But it's like, I don't know. I feel like it's very punk rock in spirit, you know, even if not everyone's like punks out there or whatever. But I'm sorry, but Andrew is posting in the chat. Andrew says, "Have you ever had an orgy?" The Jambo is kind of like that, but not with actual sex.
Oh dear God!
Sounds like a huge case of blue balls to me.
I mean,
I can't see any of it.
that sounds like a personal problem. Like, yeah.
The chat.
But
Oh,
yeah.
are we actual chat? No.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, the chat room is actually on YouTube.
Oh.
Yeah. If you go to the YouTube page, you can see who we're live chatting with. But anyways, John, to answer your question, like things we did last year, we had a bunch of people play music. We showed movies at night on a projector. We have the bar. We get fucking wasted. Like we swim in the canal. Canal's really awesome. And not last year, but I think the year before, we built a little zip line that went down into the canal, and that was pretty awesome. This year, Cornelius did a tour in the school bus and drove everybody around to different spots in the slabs. So it's kind of like a little tour bus, like tour of the slabs. You got to see all the cool spots and like meet some cool people. Like we went over to the art gallery at East Jesus and just said hi to a bunch of people that we know over there, and Salvation Mountain, fucking, just the whole thing. You get to see all of the slabs. I mean, there's a golf course in the slabs that not many people know about. It's actually like a legitimate golf course with like flags and holes and putters, and it's like whoever made it had to have been like a real big golf fan because they put a lot of fucking work into making an actual like it's like an 18-hole golf course.
Oh shit!
Yeah, there's
so
a video.
I know it's out there, but every time I'm trying to find the golf course, like I would try to follow the signs leading to it, but I would always get so lost and just end up in the middle of the desert and have no idea what it was. Every time. And I've done this like
It's
more than a
not
dozen
far.
times.
It's not far from the library. there's literally 19 flags, white flags sticking out of the desert, where all the holes are.
I don't know what to tell you, because there was that time that you and Anna were out there, and like came by the library, like, oh yeah, Andy, we'll just bring some drinks, come out there, like you'll follow the signs, it'll be fine, like just finish up what you're doing, we'll be out there. And I got lost for like 2 hours.
Well, yeah, John or anyone else, I have a video specifically all about the golf course in the Slab City on the Squat the Planet YouTube channel if you want to check that out at some point.
All right. Yeah.
It's just a video of all of us drinking beers and getting wasted and putting shit around. It's pretty cool though, actually. It turned out it's a good
sounds
video.
like a fun time.
Yeah. Oh, it's fucking crazy, man. I mean, there's like mud pots out there. Like, there's a whole bunch of like geothermal activity out there, like underground. There's like geothermal plants and electrical plants and stuff out there, not in Slabs, but in that general area. And like, so you got these like spots. Like, there's a hot springs in Slab City. There's also this place called the Mud Pots where like all these little mud volcanoes come out of the ground and they like spew mud, and you can just go play in the mud, and it's pretty fucking awesome. And also there's a Salton Sea too, which we went out to Bombay Beach last year as well, which is like a kind of town. It's like more like 5 blocks by 5 blocks. It's real small. The only business they have there is a bar, and it's like the cheapest bar I've ever been to. Like, I think it was like $1.50 for a shot or something like that.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, and the people there are real cool too. So, but it's like right next to the Salton Sea, so you could go. We went and walked around the beach, the quote unquote beach, which is mostly just like, it's like there's a whole story behind the Salton Sea and everything, but like it's so filled with dead fish that like the beaches are like crunched up fish bones, you know, like. So there's like, it's not sand, it's just, it's way more metal sand. It's the sand of death.
And it's so gross.
It's gross and it smells like crap. It's kind of pretty on some days.
Can you swim in it?
I mean,
No.
you can, but oh fuck, man. I don't think you what? I don't know.
Okay,
it's like
well,
green and
you will,
slimy and
yeah.
gross.
I mean, it has to be like swimming in the ocean.
Well, yeah, depending on where. Yeah.
It's way different. Okay, so Salton Sea is
Oh,
300
okay,
feet
no, I'm talking about beaches of LA ocean, not.
Yeah. LA beaches are not the highest quality.
Oh, dude,
I've been to LA Beach like way over before.
I'm
Like,
washed up on my board while I was out on the water. I'm like, nope.
You didn't on a surfboard, you said?
Oh yeah, I was just sitting out there on my board and I used condom.
Oh
Right on
no. The
like-
classic used condom. I think everyone in LA has a used condom swimming in the ocean story.
I mean, that wasn't a jellyfish that got caught on my toe.
Wah,
I mean,
wah.
either way, you don't want to touch.
What's that?
Either way, you don't want to touch either of them.
Yeah, that's true. Just don't touch anything jelly-like in the ocean.
I would sooner touch the jellyfish. Just saying.
Yeah.
That's a good rule of thumb.
Oh,
Don't
you
touch
know,
anything.
you know, the other thing I wanted to say too is that Builder Bill does the range, which is like this spot where everyone comes together, has an open mic night, which happens every Saturday. So that will be during the weekend of the Jambo, and usually we'll take the party over there and go party and play music and shit too. So it's definitely something you got to see. I just wanted to mention that real quick.
All right, cool.
Yeah. Fucking, there'll be like, trust me, like all day long, we'll be fucking doing weird, crazy shit all weekend. So, yeah, it'll be good.
All right, so it'll be worth it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. and, you know, especially like, I mean, if you want to hang out afterwards, you know, like, I mean, the policy for the Jambo has always been that like, you know, we'll put you up around the library and whatnot, like during the jamboree, but afterwards you're kind of on your own, you know, because like you got to be able to like support yourself out there, like at the very least get food stamps and like build your camp or something like that, you know what I mean? And that's just because, you know, just so we don't have people like crashing all over the library because it's this public space and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, my point though is that like if you want to like, I think it's a fucking awesome place to hang out for the winter, just because I mean I've been doing it almost every winter, and I don't know, it's just like if you want to like be somewhere where like like where you don't have to worry about being fucking weird, like it's a great place to do that, I think. Because I mean, honestly, it's like one of the only places I can go and like kind of feel at home because I don't have to fucking worry about whether someone's looking at me for fucking weird for dressing a certain way or whatever, you know, like unlike living in Walla Walla right now. You know, there's no fucking punks in Walla Walla.
Walla Walla.
Nobody rocking the cargo shorts.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, look at this place.
Matt's cargo shorts.
Nice. Yeah, like I was saying earlier, that's the bustling metropolis of what did you say? Was it Blaine, Iowa?
Boone.
Boone, Iowa. Gotcha. So, anyways, yeah, Jamboree, come out. It's gonna be fucking awesome.
Oh yeah, no, it's really cool. How many people are there?
Well, last year it was a little lower than usual. Last year was like 20 people, but the year before was like what 30, like 35, something like that.
Yeah.
We're
We
expecting
had like
more this year.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean it's cool because like we had like a ton of people pitch in on food and booze. So, I mean I spent like $300 on booze, just fucking stocking the liquor cabinet and fucking yeah, because we did it up real nice, man. Fucking like we were luxurious for the desert. Like we had like an ice box and everything. I was putting actual ice in people's drinks. That's like rare in the slabs.
I bringing Milagro, like just fifth after fifth of Milagro.
What's Milagro?
Yes, but I'm pretty sure the only person drinking the Milagro is you and me, sweetie. I
don't even know what the fuck Milagro is.
I've never heard of that.
Medium high shelf tequila.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll fucking drink the shit out of some tequila. Hell yeah. Yeah.
Call me potato water, dude. That's what my grandpa called it.
Do you drink Taka?
Huh?
Do you drink Taka?
Taka?
Why are you so obsessed with like one of the worst fucking vodkas known to man? Like,
Wonderful.
you're like, Taka, it's so wonderful.
Taka and LaCroix is like Lucia's go-to beverage of like choice. For years has boggled my brain.
It's different now. Andy, it's different now. My go-to beverage is now McCormick's gin and just plain soda water.
Okay, that's less of a monstrosity. I still believe that you have no taste buds.
Hey, I'm gonna let you in on a secret, Lucia. I don't know if you know this, but the only difference between bad vodka and good vodka is like how many times it's been run through a charcoal filter, basically.
Get a Brita.
Yeah. You run that shit through some Taka through a Brita water filter like 5 times, you'll turn that shit into fucking like golden goose, whatever that fucking goose.
Golden goose.
Hey, if that's not a brand, I'm inventing it. Fuck you. It's called Brita Golden Goose.
That just makes me think you're drinking pee.
It's Golden Goose, not Golden Showers. Jesus.
Golden goose, golden juice. I don't know, man.
All right. Well, anyways, now that we've covered all those vitally important topics,
topics.
Travel
Uh,
story?
What's that?
Travel stories?
Oh, travel stories? You got something you want to share?
Not me necessarily. What about other people's travel stories?
I mean, I'm on this show all the time, sweetie. You're the newcomer. What you got?
Bring something to the table.
Hmm.
Does John know his mic is muted?
Oh. Uh-oh. Hey, bud. Hey, bud, we can't hear you.
Your mic's muted. Muted again.
I was talking to my buddy.
Okay, cool.
What was
Yeah,
going
that's
on?
fine.
Sorry, I was like on a frantic thing of like mission on trying to plug my phone in.
Are you running low on juice?
Yeah, this phone sucks.
Sorry to hear that.
Oh, it's all good. Actually, I think I've just messed up my cable. So, what are we talking about? Travel stories?
Yes.
Yeah.
You got anything you want
Um,
to share?
I wasn't traveling at this time, but do you guys remember the that Kai kid that with
Yes.
the hatchet?
Yeah.
I met him and I partied with him, and then when I was living in Arcata, and then like he left,
Of
and
course.
the next thing I heard, he killed that fucking that doctor, and I was like, what the hell?
What the fuck, man? So,
That was the second
somebody
guy.
remind me. I remember what the guy looked like, but that's almost all I remember. What was the story on this guy?
So
And-
the first time that he came in into like internet and like known dumb stuff was he was interviewed because there's this woman who was being like violently assaulted, and he ended up like busting out a hatchet from his pack and like fucking murdered the guy in self-defense. And so they interviewed him, and the interview was just ridiculous, and like pow, pow, and it was absolutely ridiculous. And then, like a year and a half later, the story goes is that he ended up like getting drugged and abducted by some guy, and then was like held captive for a minute, and then ended up murdering that guy. And then, like the police were like, "Okay, well now you've killed two people, so we're not gonna, I can't let the second one slide."
So, did he go to jail?
Mhm.
Oh
Not
yeah,
for the
he's-
first one, but for the second one.
But
You
wasn't
don't
he
get-
trying to escape being?
No. No.
Yeah, it doesn't look so
no,
good.
this guy was crazy.
This
Like,
he was posting on Facebook and he was like seen outside. He went back to the doctor's house to murder him with a hatchet. So it's
Gotcha.
Weird.
not considered self-defense.
Yeah.
That's fucked
Certainly.
up, man. Like, okay. So let me get this straight. So is that like a Dexter scenario? Like where he's like really just got it in himself to kill people, but he just happened to be in the right place at the right time for the first murder?
well, see, no. Here's the funny part. In other interviews, like he's talked about, like fucking killing somebody also, like in a cornfield or some shit. Like, yeah,
What?
yeah. I like. You have to look up like all of his videos, and he says like he's like, yeah, I've like had to, bash someone's head in with this hatchet before for like because I came across this dude raping a chick in the cornfield or some shit. Like,
Wow. How
Are
does
we
this guy?
sure? Are we-
Creepy.
How is this guy getting in such proximity to all these events? Like, I mean, 1, 2, possibly so 2.5 times. You know, like how? I mean, it's like those people that get hit by lightning multiple times. You know what I mean? Like,
oh shit, it's like that video of that guy who got struck by lightning. He gets right back up and he gets hit again.
what? I haven't seen that. Holy shit! Is there a
What?
video of it?
Yeah. Check it out on
What?
YouTube.
I'm totally gonna look this up after the show. That sounds awesome. I mean, I feel sorry for the guy, but
Oh yeah, I mean, and it's crazy because he lived that first time. Second time, not so much.
oh really? He died the second
Oh, yeah.
time.
Well, of course he did. He got struck by lightning fucking twice.
Well, you never know. I mean, if you live once, you might.
Well, he got superpowers the first time, but then he was too powerful, so Thor himself had to intervene and kill him. Clearly.
Thor
Yeah,
was a little
apparently,
jealous. Okay.
he had to have like fucked up shit. That's karma right there.
That was just a really unfortunate roll on the metaphorical D20.
Life's a
Oh
bit.
man, that's fucking crazy, man. I didn't know about that. And that's crazy that you met that Kai guy, dude. That's fucking wild.
Your audio cut out.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm just saying it's crazy that you met that Kai guy. His name was Kai,
Oh, right?
Guy.
his
Yeah.
name was
Okay.
Kai.
Kind of a hatchet traveler.
Yeah, it was just weird, like, hearing about him, like, oh fuck, I partied with him.
Yeah, yeah,
Is that all
totally.
you did with him?
Huh?
Is that all you did with him? You sure you weren't there in the corn maze? That's how you know?
Okay, is this going sexual or murderous?
This just went real dark all of a sudden.
Like,
Like,
were you with
Lucia,
him?
what are
Like,
what are you
physically?
doing?
What's on your mind?
Murderous thoughts. Murderous thoughts.
Red rum, red rum. Everybody.
Tony's not here, Mrs. Lawrence.
Oh
Lawrence, not Lawrence. What the fuck?
man.
Oh no. Oh, my phone died.
Oh, we're
Still
still,
see you.
we're still.
No.
Nope.
I see a hole in the ceiling.
That's funny. Maybe his screen froze, and he thinks his phone died.
Maybe he just
Either
got
way,
out.
moving on. While we stare at his ceiling,
A little bit of water going up there.
man, travel stories, man. If you want to hear some travel stories, I got lots of travel stories, but man, it's like I've got quite a catalog, so maybe we should be more specific. Is there like
I got one.
okay?
Or actually, what about the story about when you broke into the fridge that was just like had a bunch of booze in it?
Oh yeah. I actually wrote a
Uh-huh.
story about that. Yeah, I did. I wrote a story about that on the old Squat the Planet website, called "The Day It Rained Beer." No, wait, no, that's a different story. Sorry, I apologize, but I will tell that story real quick just because it's short. So for a long time ago, I mean, this was back in like fucking 2002, I think, and I was staying in Towson, Maryland, which is like a suburb of Baltimore, and lots of punks in Baltimore and in Towson in general. And so one of the things I ended up doing was we would steal kegs from behind restaurants, basically, if they were full. They didn't have them chained up or anything like that, and they just left them back by the dumpster. So we were just like, fuck yeah, let's steal something. And so there's this area of Towson called Sketchless, which was like our name for it. It was just a section of woods, basically, with a creek that went down the middle of it. Excuse me. And
Put that at a 7.
thank you. And the reason we called it Sketchless is because there was basically like no way that we could ever get caught, because like there was just too many escape routes if like the police ever came or something like that. So all the punks and the kids and stuff would come down to this section of woods to party and fucking rage and shit and just be stupid or whatever. It was pretty awesome. And one day we were just sitting down there drinking a couple beers by the creek, and my friends in the middle of the night just come barreling through the woods, and they come break out of the tree line, and they're carrying this keg, and they were just like, fuck yeah, like, oh, we're like, hell yeah, like it's a fucking party night, like, all right, let's do this, and they put the keg like in the middle of this like stream. It's a very very like shallow stream, and we sit there for a second and we're like, okay, so where's the tap, you know? And no, everyone looks at each other and we're like, fuck, like we don't have a tap. And my friend Darkstar, who's like this like super skinny, like 90 pounds soaking wet like Irishman dude with like crazy dreadlocks, and he's like, oh fuck that, dude. It's like, Matt, give me your fucking multi-tool. And I was like, okay. And so I gave it to him. He unfolded it into like the pliers, you know, and he just like straight up like hands over his head, just fucking comes down. It's like, kung, like kung, like full force, you know, just like boom, like forcing my like hammering my multi-tool into the little hole. And dude, I'm just like, dude, that's never gonna fucking work. You know, like, and he's like, it's gonna fucking work, man. And I was like, you know, and he keeps going at it, and I'm just like, dude, don't you think, like, I was like, dude, that shit's fucking pressurized, and all of a sudden it goes, and he fucking cracked it, man. And literally the force of the pressure of the beer, like, sent the beer, like, spewing into the fucking sky. It was literally like 100 feet into the fucking air, and over this like 40-foot radius around the around the fucking keg, it's just literally raining beer, you know. And my friends are like, oh, what the fuck? You're like, ah. And like two of my friends, and probably is like the most like heroic like form of alcoholism I've ever seen in my life, are sitting there trying to put their mouths over the spray as it's coming out of the keg, you know, and it's coming out with such force that they're putting their mouths over it, and they're just like, ow, 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 ow. Like, trying to drink the beer, but it's spraying into their mouths so fast that it's like hurting themselves. And they're like fuck, you know, and everyone's like sticky and wet and fucking after like I don't know, could have been more than like 60, you know, maybe a minute and a half, you know. The keg loses pressure, you know, and everything comes down and people come out of the woods, you know, like, and everyone just starts laughing their asses off because I mean it literally fucking rained beer for like a minute and a half, you know. Yeah, I will always fucking remember fucking John and Darkstar, both of them, just trying to put their mouths over the spray. And, just like, and they're literally were like, ow, 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 ow. Like trying to drink the beer. And,
President
yeah.
like lose an eye.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I mean, it was coming out with some serious fucking force, dude. Like, to spray that high in the sky. It was fucking nuts. Like,
I would just be like spinning and like dancing, like
so a couple people they're just like mouths to the sky, like you know.
Raindrops falling on my head.
I remember Casper was holding her book bag just over her head like this, just like son of fuckers, like. Yeah, it was pretty cool. Like we had quite a few crazy fucking stories happen there.
And the dready, skinny Irishman was so shamed by that event that he went to California and changed his name to Kai.
Oh yeah, no. Unfortunately, Darkstar is no longer with us. But he was a hell of a guy when he was. And speaking of which, I mean, I don't know if someone else wants to tell a story or something. I can go into the other beer story.
Other beer story.
Other beer story? Okay.
Other beer story.
This other one actually involves Darkstar as well. This is the one I think I was telling you, Andy. Like, again, same place, same time, Towson, Maryland, 2002. We would dumpster the shit out of fucking Baltimore all the time. It was fucking awesome. It was almost like, honestly, it was kind of like a fucking dumpster utopia in terms of like just the amount of like crazy fucking food you could get. And we would go out at night in my friend's car the Tedder brothers, and we would go drive probably from like midnight to like 5 in the morning, and we just load up carload after carload of like groceries, food. Just there was so much dumpstered food at that time that like we literally had like 5 days a week of food not bombs. It was fucking awesome. Like,
Nice.
yeah, and this is back, too. I'm gonna date myself here, but this is back when gasoline was real cheap, so it wasn't a fucking issue to just go drive around all night collecting food, But anyways, there was one night we did find this like liquor store where in a strip mall. I was like, fuck yeah, dude, let's check out the fucking liquor store dumpster, And so we drive behind the store and we take a look in the dumpsters. There's nothing in the dumpster. I'm just like, whatever, But there's like one of those like white ice machines with like the red letters that say ice on the side with like the silver doors that open, and everyone's seen them. And so I just out of curiosity, it's not locked, so I just opened because it's weird that there's an ice machine in the back of in the alley. You know what I mean? It's not plugged into anything. So I open it up, and what the liquor store had been doing was they were storing all the booze that had like cracked bottles. So like if a 6-pack, like one of the beers broke in the 6-pack and leaked all over the other ones, so all the beers are like sticky and stuff. But the other beers are still kind of good. They were just like putting them in this ice machine. So the ice machine was filled with these things. So I mean, we were just like, fuck it, we don't care if they're sticky, like. And so we're just pulling out like 6-pack after 6-pack after 6-pack, and we're just like fucking like, yes, this is awesome. And we had so much beer, like hundreds of beers. It was fucking crazy. And we'd go back to Sketchless in the woods and fucking drink these beers and stuff. And we kept doing that for a while until we came back one day and the ice machine was gone. There was nothing in the dumpster. And we're like, oh, fuck, like, I guess that well went dry or whatever. But there was this refrigerator. And it was like a very tall, skinny refrigerator that had this like fake wood vinyl on it, and it had a lock on it, and I was like, fuck it, I just didn't care to look that much. But Darkstar, no, being like the drunk he was, he was just like, oh, I'm gonna take a look at this. And so he goes over there and like just gives it like a little tap, like just like pushes it slightly, and all you can hear is the clanking of bottles, just like ting 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 ting. He's like, oh shit, it's on. and he fucking disappears somewhere. Comes back like 2 minutes later holding this giant piece of rebar, like, and I was like, oh shit. And so he stabs it in the latch where the lock is, and he's just fucking like pulling back and forth on it. But like I said, he's a small guy, and the whole, he's just like, Matt, Zoe, fucking help me, so the three of us are just pulling on this thing back and forth. The fucking refrigerator, the whole thing, it's a tall refrigerator, probably like a 7-foot high tall refrigerator. And it starts rocking back and forth to the point I'm like, oh shit, this thing's gonna fucking topple over. And finally the fucking latch like comes off, like breaks, and the door swings open. And it was just like literally like 10 seconds.
That's happening too, not us.
Ding dong.
Whoa, that's going crazy.
Oh, no. Andy, it's just you and I left.
That's what it looks like. I guess we can lead the show for now.
Are you?
So
Am I not
to
sure?
this Lab City 2016. Baby Lucia in a car, in a black car, a car with Noah and that one girl, fucking what's her name, Cricket. And then who else came? I picked 2 people up in LAX.
Noah, Cricket, and Vision? Was that it?
No, Zim and Carl.
Oh, cool.
Carl! I miss him.
Yeah, Carl's awesome.
Yeah, good old Carl. That was the first time I ever went to a Jambo, and I drove in and it was dark and I didn't know where I was going, and it was great because my car's full of like these dirty, sweaty, stinky kids, and we've all been like living out of my car, which is not a big one. It's seated like 4, but whatever. So we get in there and we sneak around, and yeah, we found the bar. And then I came up to you, Andy. Do you remember that? Of course you don't, because the next morning you told me, you were like, hey, oh my God, I'm so glad to meet you. Woo, I love you. Hey, so like wake me up in the morning, okay? And I was like, all right. Should I like wake you up with Cujo? You're like, yeah, man, yeah, wake me up with Cujo. So fast forward like 8 hours, I'm up with the fucking dawn sun because Jesus Christ, I don't sleep ever. Have my dog, and I sneak in, and Corin sees me at the like no trespassing area, and she was like, and I was like, yeah, I remember Andy, like you were there too, like yeah. So Corin's like, so I walk up and I throw Cujo at you.
In my tent while
I'm not
I
sure
was.
if people can hear me.
I can hear you now, man. You're
We
good.
hear you now, bud.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did my video
Just
cut
like
out?
Yeah.
Mid story just froze and
It's fucking
stopped
weird
working.
because nothing happened on this end. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your story though. Go ahead.
Did you go silent again?
Looks like it.
No.
Fuck
Okay, good.
no.
Go on, Zia.
But for a year and a half, Andy over here told everybody, oh yeah, before I ever met Lucia, the first thing she ever did was throw a dog at me. Because it was
Okay, that's not what I said.
yes, it was.
It's along those lines, but it was not the first time I remember meeting you. I was just like, yeah, like the first time we well, actually, yeah, no, that was the first time we met. So yeah, you did throw it at me. Thanks.
First time we met, you were sitting at the bar and you were just like, oh, hello.
Oh, honey, I was bartending that entire weekend. Like, I don't have any cohesive memory of anything past like 4 p.m.
Do you remember the Cards Against Humanity that you won?
No. I remember Carl bashing a beer can against his head until it burst open, and then he just shotgunned it as his pallet. That was pretty hardcore. And I remember that Danny kept walking around with that terrifying like panda mask.
No, it was a fox mask.
It was terrifying.
It was wonderful.
Terrifying.
Wonderful.
Oh my God.
I feel like everybody should wear masks to the Jambo, but only if they are janky homemade fox masks.
Specifically a
his at,
fox
like,
mask?
Okay, maybe not a fox mask specifically, but
I mean, are we going for a furry thing here? Did the Jambo just become a furry convention?
StP
Don't make-
2018.
What'd you say, Andy?
The StP FurCon 2018. I already have my Rainbow Zebra onesie. All right, I'm good to go.
I knew you'd be prepared.
Always prepared.
Okay, so you guys can hear and see me then.
Yep.
Did I cut out halfway through the story, or?
yes. Yes, you did.
Last thing we heard is the 3 of you were like hoisting the rebar, and the latch just broke off. And then what happened? We're on the edge of our seat.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so we're pulling on the piece of rebar. The lock breaks off. The door swings open. There's like literally like 10 seconds of like odd silence before everyone just goes fucking loses their shit, just cackling like fucking madmen, just like grabbing bottles and stuff, and just like just fucking armloads of fucking bottles, you know, just running back to Darkstar's car, which was this big ass fucking Lincoln. And so we putting everything in the trunk, and it took like 3 or 4 trips, like just cackling, fucking putting bottles in the trunk, and we finally got everything in there, and we just fucking took off racing out of the parking lot. And like laughing hysterically the entire way. Like everybody in the car just like, you know, just like we'd pulled like the biggest heist of the century, you know? And we fucking pull up to the library because all the punks would hang out at the library at that time. And like pretty much like tearing up like right like one wheel up on the curb, you know, just like you know, like piling out of the car, and we're just like everybody like booze and beer like everyone's like fucking like what's going on, like calm down, and like and we're just like just go to Sketchless, just go to the woods, go now, you know. So everyone, it was like a Saturday night too, so like there was a fuck ton of people hanging out, and so everyone just piled into the fucking woods, and we brought like our like pirate booty like into the woods, and it was fucking so it was insane. It was like, if I remember correctly, it was like fucking 3 like half G's of vodka, like 2 cases of Yingling lager, and like what was it, a couple of 6-packs of random shit. And then but on top of that was 2 things. The main hall was like, I think it was over 20 bottles of wine, you know, and there were big bottles of wine, and one of the bottles of wine was one of those huge like 4-foot tall bottles that are like $500, and the bottle's so big that like we had to get like 2 people on one side to lift the bottle while the other person like sat there like glug glug glug, and then like stop like wine pouring down their face, you know. It was awful wine. It was terrible. Like, but just the novelty of drinking out of a 4-foot high fucking bottle, you know, was good enough, you know. And like I said, there was like 20 fucking bottles of wine. There's so much, like the whole town, the whole punk population of Towson at that time was like drunk for a week straight, you know. Like we took out a shovel and dug a hole and buried the rest of the booty like real pirates, you know? Just like it's like I'm to this day I'm pretty sure there's some fucking buried bottles out there that we fucking forgot about or lost somewhere, you know. We drunkenly buried and forgot where they were.
Andy,
but
Yeah,
no.
but yeah, that was our booze dumpster / heist story, and yeah, that's good times. A lot of good times back then.
Yeah, it sounds it.
Yeah, a lot of shenanigans. Many shenanigans.
Nice.
So, anyways, anyone else got a shenanigans story they would like to share?
My middle name is Shenanigans.
None that's
Yeah?
not kinky, so you know.
Not that's what? Not kinky?
One that's not kinky. Yeah. My stories usually have a very specific theme going around. Usually, but
Oh, okay, cool. I mean, you can share if you want to. If you don't have to, though.
So it's all about your development. Let it all out.
I mean, shucks, now I'm on the spot. I remember this one time in Mobile, it was the first time that I hopped a freight train. And it was also the first time that I was in an orgy with women.
Oh, okay.
3 girls and only 1 other guy. It was a very strange time for me.
Yeah.
What happened was...
Sorry, I just have a hard time picturing that. No.
It amounted to is like one guy getting a whole lot of attention from me and him giving a whole lot of attention to other women. So, you know.
I was about to say, once you get enough strap-ons, I mean, it all evens out, right?
The smells are different. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, Andy's like, no.
Not at all. That was awkward. And that was in Mobile, Alabama, and it just sort of happened because we got stuck there for a week, and it was just raining and terrible. So we were all wet, and we found this fucking records building to squat in, and we all just ended up taking off our clothes and drinking, and then like a few of the girls were bisexual, so they started doing the thing, and then the great one jumped in, then the guy jumped in. Next thing you know, I'm making out with the guy, and our one friend Jimmy, like bless his heart, he's a Christian, and was just kind of drinking in the corner, like you guys are fucked. So, like,
Aw.
Warming
yeah,
up, homie.
that was awkward. He actually tried to ditch us that night.
Oh. It's like these kids are way too hardcore for me.
What was crazy is I meet so many travelers that all similarly have like just a weird orgy story, and
Yeah,
just happened. Like,
yeah. I
uh,
I have at least one that I can think of. You know
Do I
what's
have?
other, what's that?
I'm trying to think if I have one. I don't think I have one.
oh, give it time, girl. Give
Jambo
it.
2018.
Oh, suddenly.
I don't know if we should start
Oh,
saying that.
sorry. Looks like I gotta be in Iceland during Jambo. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, ooh, I gotta be over here. But actually, you know, the funny thing I was gonna say is, how many of you ran into Christian punks when traveling, or
Actually, a
maybe just in
number.
general?
Yeah, like I've met at least a dozen, I'd say, just like super Christian punks
Yeah,
that
maybe
I,
5 or 6, I think, for me.
I met one. She was great, and I can't remember her name, so I'm just gonna call her Marilyn because that's the last person who texted me. So Marilyn was originally a super, super Christian little sweet girl. She also had, I think she had IBS because she became a huge stoner to deal with like the pain. So she was
Hmm.
like this Christian girl stoner who also became a stripper. So she
mm,
was a Christian girl stripper. And then she got
That
tired.
reeks of confused.
eh, mm,
Apparently, according to Marilyn, she would be like giving guys lap dances and like reciting parts of the Bible to them, which makes sense because when we hung out, she would recite parts of the Bible to me. One day, she just got tired of it. She had enough money in her savings. She was like, I'm gonna go explore the world. And she initially wanted to do it like an Instagram model, like go to Bora Bora or Bora Bora. Go be fancy, all this stuff. But then she realized, wait a minute, I don't have to spend $200 on a hotel. I can sleep outside. And then she was like, wait a minute, I don't have to pay for a cab. I could like hitchhike. And then, wait a minute, I don't have to get a plane to a different place. I can hop a train. And yeah, it
Just a
was great.
series of light bulbs, basically.
Just like, oh,
going off in like the proper sequence too. Like,
Yeah, at least you didn't jump straight to, I'll be a hobo. I should live under bridges.
like, you know
Baby
what?
steps,
My life's really going for me. I got like a 401k. I make a ton of money stripping and being a pot smoking Jesus freak. I think
wait,
I'm gonna bang heroin in a boxcar now.
Yeah, yeah. That's a bit of a
you
leap.
had 401k as a stripper?
Yeah, actually, most strippers have like 401ks.
I mean, as long as you
Really?
pay into it, I guess. Yeah.
No,
What is money?
Yeah,
life choice.
I just think it's funny, man, because like I actually traveled with like 2 kids. It's weird that you mentioned that girl because honestly, I don't think I've ever met a Christian punk girl that was traveling. They were always guys, and I just wanted to corrupt them so hard. Like,
I already corrupted them.
ooh, do tell.
I did my siren song, and then I drowned them in the river.
Nice, nice.
No,
Is
Nice.
the
A
river
river
a
of
metaphor
sin.
for-
I would imagine, at least.
I've met a lot of Jesus freaks in my life who go from super, super Jesus-y to super, super, oh, I just got a dick pic. Like,
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, actually, I grew up in a really Christian area too. I went to a Christian school and for all of high school, and it definitely fucked me up in a lot of ways. Let me tell you.
oh yeah?
Oh yeah, yeah, lots of ways. Like fucking, I mean, this obviously before I started traveling and everything, but like it, like
Yeah.
oh, like just how wrong abortion was, and like, and it didn't help too that like my dad taught at the fucking school that I went to, so no, yeah, nobody really wants to date the teacher's kid, I guess, or whatever. We look too similar. So I think it kind of really it fucked me up on relationships a whole bunch too, and like interacting with women and things like that. Just because like the whole like, I mean, they really believed in like the whole like ancient courting process. You know what I mean? Like asking the parents' permission and all that kind of shit. You know what I mean?
Don't forget the lambs.
The what?
The lambs. You have to offer the parents a lamb.
A lamb. Oh,
It's
as in like an animal.
What?
Andy, the look on your face is like, what? No, we didn't do lambs, okay? We weren't that draconian. Like,
Is
I
that
mean,
kind
as
of like
Christian
the
schools go, it was pretty progressive, but still, occasionally people would talk in tongues and things like that, and just fucking ridiculous bullshit. Um, but anyways, the whole reason I brought that up was just because I was like, oh, you poor kids, you know what I mean? Like these Christian traveler kid punks, you know. I'm just like, oh, let me show you the way. I know where I've been, where you've been. Like, like, it's not worth it. So,
No, I feel it. There's a guy in Slab City that I actually got into like a huge debate with because he was most certainly a sexual, and he was like coming at me and trying to like testify Christ to me and to get me to stop being gay. And
yeah.
then me and him got like back and forth because he was like, "I'm just trying to save your soul," and I'm just like, "Well, I'm trying to save yours. Cock's great. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
like give it a shot. It's so much better."
did you know? Did you know that nowhere in the Bible does it say that lesbianism is a sin?
This is true. Just as a man should not lie with another man. There's nothing about a woman.
Interesting. I hadn't really thought about that. Are you making the scissors symbol? Or
Yeah.
hand motion? Like, yay!
Totally.
God loves scissoring. Is that what we're preaching here?
Yeah.
Yes, we
God is
should. Okay, wait. We should make a church where it's like God loves lesbians and he loves weed.
I mean, yeah. Take of my plants of my earth or whatever.
Yeah, that always reminds me of like Bill Hicks, comedian. I don't know if y'all have heard of him, but always like one of my favorite people growing up. And he always had that thing about, you know, marijuana and saying like, you know, God put it on the earth and stuff, and everyone's like, oh, you know, it's bad and all this stuff. And I mean, he was always just like, do you think God was really like, you know, I'm gonna put weed everywhere, and then you know, just like, it was more along the lines of like, you know, and then, you know, God created the heavens and the earth, and on the 8th day he rested or whatever, and then on the 9th day he looked around and said, oh my me, like, I put fucking weed everywhere. You know, it's like now I have to invent Republicans. You know? So yeah, fucking stupid people. I think Jesus hippies are hilarious. I
Okay,
don't know.
honestly,
If you go to
yeah.
fucking any rainbow gathering, I guarantee you're gonna see at least one,
They're
one bus filled with Jesus hippies that are feeding people.
So the reason why I know a lot of Jesus punks and Jesus hippies as well, because the people who go to Jesus camp are known as Jesus People USA, which is Yapuza for short, and they actually have like Yapuza, yeah. And there's this organization, and they're like strangely like hippie-ish and kind of like punk rockish and like alternative culture like orientated, while still create like Christian values. And in Chicago, they actually bought out like this old like hotel, and they leased the rooms out of it for super super cheap. But you have to like be ultra Christian and like go to mass every Sunday. And they also have like a lot of anti-gay and anti-queer like policies. And even if you were like born and like grew up in these like Yakuza buildings, like if you're gay, then you're just outed no matter what.
Oh,
Pretty cruel.
yeah.
But they're all over Chicago, and their buildings in Uptown. So like I run into like I see Jesus punks on the street all the time, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like
hard
weird.
pass.
Yeah, you know what's really interesting too is I don't know if you're aware, but like there's I know this because of growing up in a Christian school. All of our books were printed by a Christian book company, like education company. I can't remember the name of it right now, but they're like so fucking rich that like they have a college in Florida somewhere, of course Florida, right? Um,
I mean,
where
for
it's
Texas.
like, what's that, Lucia?
Oh, I said Florida or Texas, like one of
Oh
those two
yeah,
places.
yeah.
They live Michelob Ultra, beer, football, and Jesus.
Yeah.
And
Well, they have this college out there that you can go to for free, because everything's paid for by like all those fucking Christian books they sell. You know what I mean? And like all the books that were at my high school were always like, world history from a Christian perspective. Like, and yeah, like English literature from a Christian perspective,
The Christians went and
mathematics
gave
from a
knowledge.
Christian perspective. I'll tell you what though,
Like
like honestly, like one of my first like groundbreaking like anarchist moments was actually reading world history from a Christian perspective in class, and seeing like this paragraph about how like democracy was God given, and communism was a tool of the devil, and and I was like,
sign me.
what? Like, my like 15-year-old self, is like, I'm not down with communism, but I think that might be a little bit of a a stretch there. I don't think Satan was like fucking hail Mother Russia. Like, yeah, so that was first moments where I really started questioning all the stuff that was being taught to us, and yeah, that was definitely a good thing. But
You'll
the thing
never.
I was the thing I was gonna say about that college though is that like they're fucking super strict. Like, I mean, it's you get free tuition to do whatever you want to do there, but it's like you can't watch secular movies, like you can't go to town and do anything weird, like you just not allowed to like read secular books. Like it's very 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 insular, like you're not allowed to do shit. Like if you're going to that Christian school expecting the typical college party experience, you're gonna be sorely disappointed. Although you never know, there might be some secret cabal of like Christian college partiers there. I don't know.
I mean, there's always something going on behind closed doors with those people. Like
I mean,
Oh
have
yeah.
you not seen Eyes Wide Shut?
Actually,
was
I'm
that
not. But I
Christian
know
thing?
of it. That's Tom Cruise, right? And
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's always something like that at those Christian places, though. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's because they're so fucking repressed, man. Like,
having mass orgies where they like be swingers and trade off their partners.
What?
I'm thinking Eyes Wide Shut right now, so I'm just like that'd be in a sense.
Murder a girl at a sex party.
I
That's
like,
guys like that. Sorry, spoiler
Damien-
alert.
What's that?
Spoiler alert.
I missed it.
The hooker dies.
Eh,
Damien in the chat is saying a church he went to when he was young taught that anything wrong with you was demons. Bad eyesight, demons. Flu, demons. Depression, demons. I grew up thinking I was full of demons.
Let the demons run all through ya.
Yeah.
I grew up Catholic, so I learned that I'm not going to heaven no matter what. You're worthless.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's always fun.
You're feeling good about yourself? Well, that's pride, and you're going to hell.
Yeah. You're all fucked.
Molested a 5-year-old boy? Well, that'll be like 5 Hail Marys. Let's move you to a different church.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Oh man. Anyways, I guess maybe I don't know. Have we picked on the Christians enough so far?
I think they've gotten their fair pickings.
Yeah, yeah. Anyways, John did mention in the chat that his phone died, and he liked talking to us. Sounds like a cool dude. I liked having him on the show. It's too bad the phone dropped out, but it'll be cool seeing him at the jamboree. So yeah.
Hey, John, what's your username on Squat the Planet?
Oh yeah,
That's a good
John.
question. I know on Discord his username is punk without a safety pin.
Without a safety pin.
Without.
Because I took all of his safety pins.
You stole them?
Did you?
I did.
Through the ether
Really?
of the internet?
I'm sorry, I did.
That's impressive.
Teach me how to do that.
First, you must be a salty sea siren.
Mm-hmm. I'm only a salty land witch, so you know.
Oh.
Sorry.
Punk without a safety pin is no longer with us. I mean, in the live chat.
I was just like, God, did you just tell the world he died?
I just killed him. I'm sorry.
Our show was so bad, he fucking died. Like, wow. Okay. So that was the end of the Squat the Planet podcast, everybody. We killed someone today.
You cut out for like that whole sentence. So
I did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck! Dude, I'm going to have some words with my fucking internet company, I swear to God.
Matt.
Yeah.
This is you. I'm gonna words with son of a mother. Let's go.
Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to ram a thing up your ass and then with a piece of fuck and then anally
Oh,
broke ass dick.
anal involved. Okay. Heard.
Oh my god. Okay. I think we've officially gotten like way off kilter.
Yeah, that's cool. I actually, Andy, I was just, you and I have been discussing doing a special theme for a future episode. I think,
Yeah.
and I have a bunch of ideas for themes, and I think going forward, our podcasts are going to follow a little more of a stringent format, where basically like we pick a theme and talk about it. Next week we're having some people from the Homes Not Jails. I know I've been talking about it for a little while. We had to reschedule a couple of times, but next week we'll be talking with them about squatting in the Bay Area and all that good stuff, hearing some cool stories about opening up houses and all that. But after that, I kind of just want to like pick like a theme for every episode, and I think the first theme will probably be talking about oogles. And yeah, and I'm like, I already started collecting stories and anecdotes about people's favorite oogles, and kind of just talk about what oogles are and the history of the word. Also, in the future, I think I would like to have an episode on just travel-friendly jobs. You know, like where to get like
I have words on that.
What's that?
Said I have words on that.
Yeah, totally. I mean, there's so many like interesting like underground jobs of doing all kinds of different things. Everything from like trimming to like I worked at Yellowstone for a summer and actually had a really good time. But it ended up actually kind of ending on a sour note. But I'll tell that story when that episode comes out. But you know, there's just all kinds of like work resources and stuff. So I think it would be like a really interesting episode. So yeah, just kind of like pick a theme, have everybody come on, and we'll talk about it. And I think that's kind of like the thing that Damien says, spread the word that trimming is dead. Don't come to NorCal looking for trim work.
Oh my
I
God.
think you're still going to get a flood of trim-migrants.
You're already here. Like,
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's my idea for like things going forward. So, you know, yeah, I don't know. Thank you guys. I think we're good for now. You guys, unless you had anything you're like dying to share with us before we go.
Be gay, commit crimes, hail Satan.
I enjoy all those things. All right, cool. Well, I appreciate you guys. Thank you, John, by the way, for coming and joining us. Maybe we could have you on at a future time when you're traveling somewhere else. That would be kind of cool and interesting. Maybe we could. Hopefully, your phone will last a little longer. Lucia, thank you for joining us for the first time. It's been fun.
I am the one survivor, aren't I? From the newbies? I'm the survivor.
Yes. Andy, thank you.
Yeah.
Andy, thank you for joining us once again. I think yeah, we'll talk about next week later on, but yeah, I guess we're good for this week, and thank you guys for joining us. Yeah, until next week, everybody, you know, safe travels, and we'll talk to you then.
Don't hop on the fly, assholes. Bye.
Right.